You never really think about how close danger can come until you look back years later and realize one single moment could have changed your life forever. I was only 6 years old when it happened, just a kid doing what kids do on a hot summer day. We had this cheap little slip-end slide in our front yard, and my next-door neighbor, was about my age, was over playing with me. It was the kind of day where the sun is just beating down, the air is heavy with heat, and the sound of kids' laughter carries across the whole neighborhood. Everything felt so safe, so normal. You know that feeling when you're young and you think nothing bad can touch you? That was me. And then, in just a few seconds, that illusion was shattered. We'd been taking turns running and sliding down, the plastic sheet getting grass stuck to our legs, laughing so hard our stomachs hurt. At one point, I got tired and just lay there in the wet grass catching my breath. That's when I noticed a car creeping up the street. It didn't look suspicious at first. It's just an older sedan, kind of dull in color, maybe gray or dark blue. Nothing about it screamed danger to a 6-year-old, but I remember it slowed down right in front of my yard. It's not just a little like the driver was almost coming to a stop. At first I thought maybe it was someone looking for an address, or maybe a neighbor's friend. My brain couldn't connect the dots yet, because kids don't think in terms of danger the way adults do. The driver's window rolled down slowly. I could see a man behind the wheel, probably in his late 30s or 40s. He leaned toward the open window and said something, but his voice was quiet, almost like he didn't want anyone else to hear. I couldn't make out what he said, so of course, being a kid, I walked closer. I wasn't scared, I was just curious. I remember squinting, trying to hear him better, water dripping from my hair into my eyes. When I got close enough, he asked, "Me, don't you go to the school down the street?" I nodded and said, "Oh yeah, why?" And that's when he gave me this weird little smile and said, "Because my son said he recognized you." The moment he said that, I heard the sound of the car door unlock. It's funny how small sounds can suddenly feel so loud. The click of that lock echoed in my head like an alarm bell, even though at the time, I still didn't fully understand what was happening. But what I did notice, what made my stomach twist, was that I wasn't just looking at the driver anymore. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw movement in the back seat, where the rear door on the passenger side started to crack open, and sitting there was another man. Mid-30s maybe, stocky build, clean-shaven, his hand was already on the door handle, and he was looking directly at me. It's hard to explain what it felt like in that moment. I didn't feel scared in the way adults feel. Fear, it was more like confusion, like my brain was lagging behind what my eyes were seeing. I didn't know the word kidnap yet, but something in me knew this wasn't right. And then before I could even react, I felt someone grab me hard by the back of my shirt collar. My little feet left the ground for a second as I was yanked backward into strong arms. It was my neighbor's mom. She must have been watching us from the window, keeping an eye on us, the way moms do. She didn't say a word at first, just pulled me so tight against her that I could barely breathe, started dragging me back toward her house. The driver saw her, and in that instant, his entire demeanor changed. His fake smile vanished. He slammed the car into gear, and the tires squealed as he peeled off down the street. The back door that had started to open slammed shut as they sped away. I didn't fully process what had just happened. I remember being stunned, confused, and kind of embarrassed even. Like I didn't understand why she had pulled me away so roughly. I thought maybe I'd done something wrong. When we got inside her house, she locked the door, picked up the phone, and called the cops. Her voice was shaking, but she was trying to stay calm. She kept one arm around me the whole time, like she was afraid if she let go, something would happen. I just stood there, dripping water onto her carpet, staring at her phone as she explained what happened. I still didn't get it. I thought maybe they were just some random strangers who got the wrong idea, or maybe it was all just a misunderstanding. But then my mom showed up. I'll never forget the look on her face when she came through that door. She was crying before she even said a word. She grabbed me, pulled me into her arms, and held me tighter than I'd ever been held in my life. That's when it finally hit me, whatever just happened was serious. Really serious? The police came and took statements. They asked me to describe the car, the men, what they said. But I was 6. My details were fuzzy, and my words felt clumsy. All I knew for sure was that the man had asked about my school. Another man was waiting in the back seat, and the door had started to open right before I was pulled away. I didn't realize it at the time, but that was a textbook kidnapping attempt. If my neighbor's mom hadn't been watching, if she had waited even a few more seconds, I might have been dragged into that car. And once that door shut, who knows what would have happened. That thought haunted me later when I was older and could understand what it meant. At 6, I just knew my mom was crying and the grown-ups were whispering in worried voices. And everyone kept looking at me like I had barely escaped something terrible. For weeks after, I wasn't allowed to play in the front yard without an adult right there. My parents became hyper-aware of everything, every car that slowed down, every unfamiliar face in the neighborhood. And me? I couldn't shake the sound of that car door unlocking. It would replay in my head when I was trying to sleep, like some kind of ghostly echo, reminding me of how close I came to disappearing. It's strange how your life can pivot on moments you don't even understand until much later. 1 second, I was a carefree kid on a slip-and slide. The next, I was almost a missing child poster. Sometimes I wonder what gave me away as a target. Was it just that I was alone in the front yard? Was it because I walked closer when I couldn't hear him? Was it pure chance that they drove down my street that day? Questions like that stick with you because there's no real answer. What I do know is that instincts matter, and so do the people who look out for us. My neighbor's mom didn't hesitate. She saw something was off, and she acted. She didn't wait to be sure, didn't second-guess herself. She just pulled me away. And because of that, I'm here telling this story today. It took me years to understand how close I really came. Now, as an adult, when I think about it, I get chills. It's the kind of story that makes you hyper-aware of the dangers kids face and how quickly innocence can be shattered. That day will always be etched into my memory, even if parts of it are blurry. The quiet voice, the fake story about a son from my school, the car door unlocking, the strong arms pulling me back to safety, the sound of tires screeching as they sped away. Little fragments that together make up one of the scariest moments of my life. And sometimes, late at night, I still hear that sound in my head, the metallic click of a door unlocking. A sound that could have been the start of something much, much worse. So if you're listening to this, and you ever wonder if you should trust your instincts when something feels wrong, don't hesitate. Act. Because sometimes, 1 second is all that separates safety from tragedy. Thanks for listening to my story. If you want to hear more true stories like this one, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and follow the channel True Threads for more.